to 24/7, a week in the life of the Prime Minister of Canada and more. On Thursday, the Prime Minister was in Ottawa where he met with Douglas Ayford, the government's special federal representative on West Coast energy infrastructure. Later, he was interviewed by Theo Argytis from Bloomberg News before heading to Rideau Hall for his monthly meeting with Governor General David Johnston. On Friday, Lorraine Harper was in the CTV studios to talk about the Furball, the Ottawa Humane Society's annual fundraising gala.
And there's some great people. We have a lot of fun and we raise a lot of money, which is the most important thing because all the proceeds go to the Ottawa Humane Society.
And the Prime Minister met with Minister of Finance Jim Flaherty. On Saturday, the Prime Minister led a Canadian delegation on an historic mission to the Middle East. First stop, Israel, where the Prime Minister was warmly welcomed by Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu.
So the people of Israel and I deeply appreciate your friendship and the friendship of the people of Canada to us. So welcome all of you to Jerusalem. Welcome to Israel.
Next, the Harpers visited the beautiful Mount of Olives. The Prime Minister began his day Monday with a visit to the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem before traveling to the West Bank city of Ramallah for talks with the President of the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas. The Prime Minister announced new Canadian development and humanitarian aid for the Palestinian people.
Mr. President, our government's desire for the Palestinian people is a future of security and prosperity enjoyed in a viable, democratic Palestinian state living in peace beside Israel. That's why Canada has chosen to help Palestinians build the institutions necessary for such a Palestinian state.
Meanwhile, Lorraine Harper visited the historic fortress of Masada. Later, the Prime Minister traveled to Jerusalem, where he became the first Canadian Prime Minister to address Israel's parliament, the Knesset. He spoke of Canada's unwavering support for the State of Israel.
Now let me repeat that. Canada supports Israel fundamentally because it is right to do so. And therefore, through fire and water, Canada will stand with you.
On Tuesday, the Prime Minister met with Israeli President Shimon Peres before joining Prime Minister Netanyahu to witness the signing of a Canada-Israel Strategic Partnership Memorandum of Understanding. Later, Mr. and Mrs. Harper were joined by Prime Minister Netanyahu and his wife Sarah as they toured Yad Vashem, Israel's moving Holocaust memorial. The Harpers then visited the Western Wall. Meanwhile, back in Canada, former Prime Minister Jean Chrétien got a little surprise from Prime Minister Harper at his 80th birthday party.
I know that many family sacrifices are made in the course of public service, but you and Aline served and served well because you love our great country, the Tukar, with all your hearts. Lorraine and I offer you our warmest congratulations as you celebrate your 80th birthday.
Tuesday night, the Harpers attended a dinner hosted by Prime Minister Netanyahu. Wednesday morning, the Prime Minister traveled to the New Testament sites of Capernaum and the Mount of Beatitudes on the shores of the Sea of Galilee. The PM then visited the Hula Valley Bird Sanctuary, where an education and visitor center will be built in his honor. And that was the week of January 16th to the 22nd, 2014. For more information, visit pm.gc.ca 24/7.
This is Joseph, and welcome to another QML tutorial. And in this tutorial we're going to discuss importing JavaScript files that I totally forgot about before, and a really important part and powerful part of QML. So from our last tutorial we had this model, and inside of our model we had an XML list model that went out to the tvdatabase.com's API, and it's grabbing some banners for us of Star Trek, right? So let's go ahead, and we don't even need these anchors anymore. So let's get rid of those, and let's just run this, right? And it's loading down here, loading, And eventually it will load, and there we go, it's loaded and it's bringing the pictures up. Okay, let's close that down. But there were errors, obviously there were pictures. If we run this again, we will see after it loads that there's missing pictures. We can see that there's 2 of them, my Dell. Okay, so let's look at that debugging down there. It says home Joseph templates, my Dell. It says image error decoding, and it's just looking for this string right here. And obviously there is no banner after it, so we need to be able to have a fallback. Okay, so let's look online for a fallback image really quick. Okay, here is one right here, so let's go ahead and copy that. Alright, now let's create a JavaScript file. Okay, we're going to be using this for logical purposes. And we go to Files and Classes, Qt. Now we press JS file right here. Okay, and we're going to make this we're going to call this utils. And we're going to make sure that it's not a stateless library for right now. And we just press finish. Okay, now let's take this function out of here and let's create a variable, and we're going to call it fallback image, and we're going to set it equal to our fallback image. Okay, let's save this file and let's go back over to our delegate again, and we're going to say import, and now we're going to put our quotations here, which means that we're importing a file or something local. We're not importing library plugins. Okay, so we're going to import utils.js, and we're going to say as utils. Alright, so we're importing this file and we're giving it kind of like this variable name of utils here. Okay, now let's say on status changed. Give our curly brackets, we'll say if status is equal to image dot error curly brackets, and we are going to say source is equal to utils, okay, dot fallback image, right? So it's going to look inside of our JavaScript file and look for a function or a variable or a case statement or whatever that is equal to fallback image. Okay, now let's save this and run this. See, we're loading. It knows that we're loading. It's still loading. I wish I had fast. Oh, it loaded. Oh, okay, so there we go. We got the 2 errors there, right? But it filled in for the errors. It gave us our banner there. Okay, so let's say we actually wanted to make a folder system or something like that in our project, right? So let's just right click here. Actually, let's right click on utils, right? And we're going to say show containing folder, right? So this is going to open up our file browser of whatever choice, right? And here it is. And we're going to right click here and we're going to say create folder. And we're going to call it JavaScript. Okay, create that. Now let's go ahead and take our utils.js, right, and let's put it in our JavaScript folder. Okay, so there we go. Just move that over to our JavaScript folder. Now let's go ahead and press the close button on our file manager, and it says that it's been updated or removed outside of Qt Creator. Do you want to save it under a different name or close the editor? So we're just going to close the editor. Okay, and you can see that it automatically found the folder right here, right? But we have this red mark here, so we have to actually define the folder that it's sitting in, right? JavaScript, and then we can just do the /, right? Because that's the folder that it's sitting in. We don't do the dot, we just do the / because it's a full string, right? And if we save and run this, you'll see that it is the same deal. Anywho, that's how you import JavaScript things, and that's how you back up and make sure that your image is good, and if it's not good, then so on and so forth. Anyways, this is Joseph. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Simple one, something I forgot about with importing JavaScript. And of course, again, your JavaScript files can be like lots and lots and lots of functions and lots and lots and lots of variables or whatever you want to set it as for logic and stuff like that. Anyways, this is Joseph. Have a good one. Bye.